Task Force 1 with more on that special group and the significance of 9/11 to one local fire station. I'm joined once again by Evan Levitt of LA in a Minute. Thank you so much for being here, especially on 9/11, and bring us back to that day. Station 88 is in Sherman Oaks.
That's right.
What's the significance of that?
So Fire Station 88 in Sherman Oaks, as you mentioned right there in Sepulveda, Magnolia, is one of only 6 departments in the entire United States that has this highly qualified and trained task force, and what they are trained in is weapons of mass destruction, hazardous material, radioactive material, and at the time, they were established in 1993, but 2001 was really their first boots on the ground experience. You know, unfortunately, it was for something of this magnitude, but they had actually, while all the planes were being downed throughout the United States, they got on planes and flew to New York to help in search and rescue missions and potentially to secure the area because nobody knew what was coming next near the World Trade Center towers. So true heroes indeed from Station 88 in Sherman Oaks.
And it's all about remembering and reflecting, and they have a memorial there at Station 88.
Now that is beautiful, and I drove by again today. It's the only place in California that has both a steel girder from one of the World Trade Center towers as well as a piece of limestone from the Pentagon, as well as this beautiful fountain that has a tile mosaic of the American flag, which represents, you know, the United States being reborn after the attack, and the water for rejuvenation. And that was set up by somebody named Carrie Contuian out of Sherman Oaks, who was a volunteer as well.
That's nice that you took the time today to drive by.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important.
Very important. Okay, what other significance does 9/11 hold for the city of Los Angeles?
So first and foremost, 3 of the flights were headed towards Los Angeles, 2 out of Boston and 1 to Washington, D.C., and 25 of the victims were indeed Los Angeles residents, the youngest being only 3 years old. So, I mean, obviously in a terrible tragedy, that really just is even more terrible. But additionally, 2 of the terrorists did enter, of 9/11 did enter the United States through LAX in January of 2000, and obviously they've increased and improved security. They did that nearly immediately after the attacks and have continued to do it since then. But it's very interesting to note that one of the original targets, bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, had 10 original targets set for 9/11, 5 on the West Coast, 5 on the East Coast, and one of those targets was the U.S. Bank Tower, then known as the Library Tower. So fortunately, that didn't occur. They decided to focus, you know, on the East Coast, but the U.S. Bank Tower has definitely been a target, and again, there was an potential attack a year later in 2002 on the same building on the U.S. Bank Tower that was thwarted by U.S. Customs. So very good for them doing their jobs and protecting the country and, you know, continuing the security, at least here in Los Angeles.
All good information that is very important to get out there as we remember on this 9/11.
Yes.
Evan Levitt, we appreciate you. We want to let our viewers know that this is going to be a weekly segment with him and his LA in a Minute. So you can follow him, Evan, on Instagram at LA in a Minute, or you can download the podcast In a Minute with Evan Levitt. So we'll see you back here, Evan. It's a date 1 week from today, Monday night.
We'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Marla. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Evan. And we'll be right back.